So just quickly, just a few minutes here. How was that for you guys?
It was awesome.
It was good. I wish we would have had a little countdown of something to give us that warning. That would have been so great. We were also
I didn't think of that till right now.
Yeah. As a coach, I felt very like I didn't wrap it up properly because I didn't know. So I'm feeling for the one I was coaching.
I was a little annoyed that we were being assigned this after having, I don't know if I'm the only one having an emotional day today, but I felt super emotionally drained. And I felt like my partner did a really good job of not trying to go too deep after expressing that. So, yeah, that was appreciated. And
cool.
I had a "fuck you, Sean" moment. So
nice.
Sean, a question. Mike's, was difficult for me, those questions, because Mike has more of a technology problem.
Uh-huh.
So like a lot of it related to family and relationships. And so can that be those questions? Are they specifically for, like, can they be used for any problem? Like, technology problem
it could be. Yeah. Sometimes the issues that people think are a little bit more surface level, or yeah, I would say technology is one of them. Maybe skill set oriented, things like that. A lot of times they'll dive deeper into more personal challenges and personal problems. And those questions are certainly more designed for people that are having life issues, I would say, and more like personal challenges. So it's more for that. And we might be surprised at how many times it goes there, no matter where we start it from, right? So whatever you got out of it is perfect. And the more that you do some of this work, the more that you'll be able to discern when to ask these questions and when to keep it on just skill set or whatever the issue is that comes up.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
So my experience is I've been very emotional today and was really triggered this morning. And both of my partners did a great job at bringing me through it. And thank you to both of them. I really feel like I bombed out because I felt mentally detached from what was going on, from all the emotion. So but one of them,
you say mentally detached. Are you talking about from the sessions here?
No, well, sort of. I've been mentally distracted from the whole emotion of today. So it was really hard to focus on the details of the timeline, but I just kind of went with it. When I went by just with the first one, I just kind of went with what I experienced and didn't even look at the program. The second one, I was looking at the program and I ended up bouncing, I think, from one process to the other, as I was told. And I felt that I was totally not knowing where to go next, but he still said that he got something out of it, like awesome. An awareness out of it, yeah. Which I'm grateful for.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been.
So here's the reason I asked you. You said that you were emotional and therefore felt mentally detached. And my assessment was that you were saying you felt mentally detached as though that's a bad thing, but that's what happens when you touch your emotions. We've got emotions and then we've got intellect. So if you're going to touch your emotions, it's good that you feel a little mentally detached. The challenge is we think that we have to have our intellect in control for us to be in control. And so anytime that our intellect feels like it's no longer in control, or it can't figure stuff out, or it can't language certain things, then we tell ourselves that's a bad thing. But if it's like, if you've got a 50-story building and there's a fire on the 3rd floor and you're on the 40th floor, you got to leave the 40th floor to go down where the problem is. And when we're dealing with stuff where we got to go down where the problem is, quite often it will cause us to feel exactly what you're saying, emotionally or mentally detached. But we've just been told that that's bad. When in reality, that's awesome. Like, to me, doing this work for so long, when I hear the words, I was mentally detached, I'm like, yeah, let's get that shit out of there. Because that's the problem, right? But I think the way you were holding on to it, because it could be disorienting or certainly unfamiliar. So I'm not, trying to invalidate what you said, but just for us to understand that that's actually a good thing. That means you're going deeper than the intellectual comfort, which is actually really, really good. So congratulations.
Yeah, well, the first one,
on the mental detachment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's, and again, the more that you do it, the more it being this kind of work and these specific tools, the specific exercises and all of that, the more you do them, the better you'll get. So I want to share with you something, another fun little exercise. Let's see. Please confirm so I can let them know. What do you want me to confirm? Is it something private, or is it something you can just say over the airwaves?
It's not
The
private. Do you
exercise
want me
was
to
fly.
ask? Yeah, I just wanted to know if you wanted me to have Sandy and Ibrahim on hold.
They can come in.
Okay, perfect. That's great. And I'm emailing you the other thing now.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen in a moment and give you just another little quick, fun, hopefully, game. And so in a moment, what you're going to see is a series of numbers. Not a series of numbers as much as just a bunch of numbers kind of jumbled all over the screen. And the goal is to connect the dots, kind of, right? If you played the connect the dots, not played, but done any connect the dots drawings or something like that, you start at 1 and then do 2 and then 3 and then 4. You're not actually drawing anything. You're just wanting to recognize them. So from 1, where's 2? And then from 2, where's 3? And then from 3, where's 4? So just in your mind, I want you to go through the sequence of numbers. And I'm going to time you. I'll probably time you, I don't know, maybe like 60 seconds or something like that. And then there's a second round to it. And then the second round, I'll tell you what to do then. So let me share my screen. Share. Okay. So the numbers are a little small, but can you guys see them okay? It's a vertical doc, so it's a little bit more challenging on Keynote. So you can get closer to the screen if you want. There's really not much way for me to enlarge it because then it'll just go out of the screen. So I'm going to give you about 60 seconds and let's see how far you can go starting with 1 and let's see where you can get to. Ready, begin.
I'm so sorry. What did you say?
You're starting at 1 and trying to find 2, 3, 4, and just go through the sequence. See how high up you can get. Okay, stop. Whatever number you're on right now, just type that in chat, write it down just so that you remember how far you got. And give me 1 second. I'm going to do something to this slide. There's actually a shortcut here, and I'm going to tell you what the shortcut is in a moment, but I'm going to put it up on the screen here so you can actually see it. So it's a little easier. So go ahead and type in the chat where you got. All right, what do we got over here? We got 19, 20, 18, 20, 28. Anybody get higher than, oh, okay, we got a 40, 22, 38, 25. All right, cool. So there is a pattern to this. There is a system. Did anybody find a system? If you did, raise your hand, but don't say what it is. Okay, a few people found systems. All right. So for anybody else that did not find a system, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll explain the system, and then we'll be able to do it again. So the system is that there are 4 quadrants here. You can see I've got the lines there now. And if you see where the number 1 is, it's in the top left. The number 2 is in the top right. The number 3 is in the bottom right. The number 4 is in the bottom left. 5 top left, etc. And then you continue on clockwise. So I'm going to give you another 60 seconds. Let's see how far you can get. Begin. And stop. What'd you get? Actually, do both numbers. If you remember the first one, do both numbers. First time you got what? Second time you got what? $27 to $39, $19.35, $22.34, $47 to $49. Robin, did you have the pattern the first time? Okay. 1432, 1936, 2943. Did anybody go down the second time? It doesn't look like it to me. Alicia, the second time was lower. Did you have the pattern the first time? Got it. Okay. Perfect. All right. So what can we learn from this? I think two things immediately come out to me. What do you think? Organization, looking for patterns. Yep. The power of a system. Yeah. We're all tired, says Aaron. Okay, great. Yeah, the power of a system, the importance of the system. And then Shabri used, I think, a really important word, trust. Trust the process. When you don't know where to go for these numbers, you've got the whole universe of numbers to try to find the next one you're looking for, right? But when we can cut that down to just 1/4 of the size, and you trust the system, were any of you like in one quadrant and you didn't find a number right away, so you went into one of the other quadrants thinking that, oh, maybe it must be in one of the other quadrants?
On the first one.
Or did you trust the system and say, it's got to be here in this quadrant? Right. If you went to another quadrant, it means you didn't trust the system. But if you did, which is fine, but if you trust the system, you're going to stay here until you get what you need, because you've got certainty that this is where you need to be. If you don't have certainty that this is where you need to be, then the mind will wander. Oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong. This isn't the area. And before we even had the quadrants, we just go all over the place. And that is the benefit of having a system, but also having the certainty of what's in the system, where you're going to find whatever it is you're going to find. And then we tend to be much more proficient, right? It looked like a lot of you had about twice the efficiency. And a lot of you that didn't have a big jump, it's because you had found the system, or you knew the system ahead of time. So you went from 30 to 35 or 40 to 45 or something like that. But for those of you that it looks like you didn't have a system and then you did, Denise almost tripled her number. That's the power, but it's also the power of certainty. As I was just going through it, that's what jumped out to me. I know this number's here. And when you know something is where you're looking for it, you have a different level of commitment. You also have a different level of confidence that this is where I need to be, rather than questioning, is this it? Or should I go over here? Or should I do this? Or should I do this? And that kind of uncertainty is what causes most people to not get what they want. It's what causes most people to not write books, or to not do videos, or to not build their business, or to not ask somebody out on a date, or to not really do what it is that they want to do, because they don't have the certainty, but they also don't have a system and they don't have support. So in this world of coaching, one of the most critical things that we've learned is that you've got to have bumper rails. You've got to have somebody saying, this is what to do next. We did a program called the Foundations of Marketing for Coaches about 2 to 3 years ago. And in that program, we just kept trying to figure out what's the missing piece, what's the missing link. And it was inside that program that I had my first awareness, at least of the distinction of these two words, the difference between the employee mind and the entrepreneurial mind. And what we recognized is that the employee mind demands to know the next step. The employee mind says, tell me the next steps and then I'll do it. And what we also know, we've been talking about a lot during the week, is that that's impossible. There's no such thing as a recipe, a one size fits all, especially that has the certainty that the employee mind demands. The employee mind says, how do I get clients? And so we type in, how do you get clients? And then you see programs called how to get clients. You know why? Because that's what people are typing in. And then it's these overarching, like general programs or concepts or philosophies. And then you've got a lot of people out there saying, this is the way. If you pay attention to any of the marketing out there in the coaching industry, you got a bunch of people claiming the way. The way to do it is to use webinars. The way to do it is to use Facebook groups. The way to do it is to use ads. The way to do it is to do none of it, right? And so we've got all these competing philosophies, and that leads to more uncertainty. And so around that time, about 2 years ago, it was actually after an ECCP, we were trying to assess how can we give that certainty to coaches, you know, who want to build their business and who want to get better at coaching. So we sat down. Danita was in that group. Michelle was in that group, and Charcy, I've mentioned her. Some of you know her. And we were just trying to figure out what is the thing, what's missing. And Danita and Michelle had gotten to this place, as you guys heard from, where they hit the ground running. They got in motion, they built their skill set, they built their certainty, they built their confidence, and then they started to bring in a lot of clients. And that's because there was a program called Master Coach that they both participated in. And the Master Coach program was, all right, after ECCP, this is what to do next. And that program is a $10,000 program. And what we did is we laid out for them, okay, this month you're going to work on this. This month you're going to work on this. This month you're going to work on this. And then we had mentor coaches. Jackie was our mentor, the only mentor coach at the time. And we gave people practice. We gave them dissection. We gave them live calls. We studied the work. And we gave them a mentor coach so that the mentor coach could watch what they're doing, ask their specific questions, listen to their coaching sessions, give them advice, all this stuff. And it was a really, really powerful program. And that is what got people with this work, with our exact energy and our skills in this particular curriculum. That's what got people to that next level, right? And I didn't want to do Master Coach program anymore for a number of reasons. But what we decided a couple of years ago is, what if we take that and then make it more affordable, make it easier to consume, but we know that's the next step. Like we know, that's the next step. So how can we make it something that's not only more digestible and applicable in the sense that more people can do it, more people can use it, but let's actually attach it. Like, let's put it right into our program as an option for the next step. So the next opportunity for all of you, if you want to continue this, right? ECCP gives you the awareness, gives you a lot of the stuff that you got after 5 days, and the possibility of what happens and seeing the demos, and hopefully you have some confidence and so forth. And what comes next for those of you that really, really want to hone your skills is not just practice. What we found is that people that say, I'm just going to go off and I'm going to practice, don't. And if they do, they just practice carelessly. Like there's not any specific set of steps. And so what this program is called ECCP in Action, and it's really exactly that, what the employee mind is wanting, which is just tell me what to do in this process that requires practice, it requires embodiment, it requires implementation, it requires failure, feedback, all the things that it requires, and also group support. That's another big element that most people don't have when they try to become coaches. So I want to tell you a little bit more about this program, ECCP in Action. You're going to hear from some of the people that are in it, and they'll give you their perspective. But we've run it 3 times, and it's probably the thing that I'm most proud of, honestly. And I fucking love ECCP and BCC, but what makes me the most proud of ECCP in Action is because it felt like and feels like we identified the missing link for people to increase their certainty. Because without certainty, you can get all the marketing that you want, and you're just not going to implement it. At least most people won't. What's missing for most people is certainty. So if that's the missing piece, how can we create that? And that's essentially what this is. So we took the Master Coach program, made just a few changes, just a few structural changes, but pretty much it's virtually the same program. It's virtually the same idea, the same kind of support, and just condensed a little bit. So it's quickened a little bit. The Master Coach program used to be a year, and ECCP in Action is 6 to 9 months, depending on how quickly you go through the process of practice. So I'm going to give you the details and the structure and the pricing and all that sort of stuff in a moment. But what I want to do first is I just want you to hear from a few people. So Michelle, I'll turn it over. Well, I won't necessarily turn it over to you, but they're probably on the second page, huh? Cool. So we invited a couple graduates. They're going to make me cry, to just give a little bit of their journey and their stories around ECCP in Action. So Ibrahim or Sandy, whenever you're ready, if you're able to unmute and come on camera, please do. There she is.
I figure I better jump in before Ibrahim does, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be a mess after that, man.
So first I want to say thank you for welcoming me back into, I want to let everyone know that I agreed to come on for 2 reasons. One, because I miss this community. I miss plugging in to everybody, and I miss the energy, and I love it. I love sitting and watching all the stuff that you guys are going through. And number 2, there is absolutely no way I was going to miss an opportunity to just come on and just tell you guys a little bit about my journey. Now, I promised Michelle that I would keep it brief, so I'm going to do that. So my journey is this. When I stepped into this community, I knew that I wanted to coach. And Danita took my hand and brought me along. I knew this is where I wanted to be. I knew I had to coach, right? So here I am. I come into BCC, then I go into ECCP in Atlanta, and I kind of, in the beginning, I was like a fly on the wall. I was watching a lot and observing a lot, and just taking it in and taking it in. And I will tell you this: before I left ECCP, I don't know where you guys are in your phase. I knew that I could not coach. It was just something that was in me. It was something that blossomed. And if Sean remembers, I left Atlanta and I came to New York. And when I got into the airport, I told him I had this feeling of just being open. And I felt like I needed to just cover up because I felt so open. And this is just, I knew that this was something that I had to do. However, I also knew that once I left Atlanta, I would go back into my busy world, and I would call it New York, and back to my busy life, and that's what I would do. So ECCP in Action was exactly what I needed for myself and my journey, because it kept me committed to what it was that I said out of my mouth that I wanted to do. Every step of the way, everything that you're learning, you're going to be able to learn it again and again and again until it becomes part of your DNA. You're going to practice it over and over, so you don't have to feel like you always have to run to your book. You're gonna breathe it. You're gonna feel it. It's going to be very natural to you, and you're going to learn things about yourself that you didn't know was there. Even though you're in this course right now, there's more. Right? There were so many things that I learned from ECCP in action, and once you start working with your peers, when Sean and Michelle and Jackie and Danita are not around, right? You have to, for lack of a better word, you have to grow up into it. You have to be it. You have to, embody it. And that's what the program did for me. And the mentor coaching, being able to coach in front of Sean and Michelle and Jackie and to get the feedback on the spot, it was everything to me. It was exactly what I needed. And so when you finish the first phase of it, now you have to go and do it on your own, but it's still a little structured. And you have to go have your own clients, and you have to get that certainty that Sean is talking about. And when you finish, I'm telling you, when you finish, you are going to feel like, I got this. You're not going to feel like I have to start again. I'm going to pick it up later. You're going to feel like I got this, and I'm running full steam ahead. I will tell you, from the time I've stepped in this group with Sean, I've written a book, I've started a business, I've coached, and I work 9 to 5 with an on-call type job, and I can't stop. And I love it. And I do not miss an opportunity to coach. If Michelle or Sean or anyone ever needs me, I'm there, like I'm here today. And I will tell you, ECCP was one of those things that I just can't even imagine being where I am today without it. So if you could just hear my heart, just know that if you're ready to coach, you might want to just go ahead and jump on into ECCP in action. And that's all I have for you guys. Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for taking the time. I just burst into tears when you said you wrote a book. I love it. Is the man here? The man.
Here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. Hello, everyone. I see a lot of beautiful faces in this group. But let me speak from my experience. This journey, I want to pick up this journey from leaving ECCP and to considering ECCP in action. ECCP in action, for me, exposed weaknesses in my inflated coaching persona, personality, that I didn't know was there. And the structure is everything. The structure of this program is, I can't put a price on it. I love that. So the investment that you make for yourself, and I've been making this trade with Sean ever since BCC. It's been take one step, and it's not that I'll meet you there. It's that I'm gonna envelope you. I'm gonna envelope you and share this whole world that you don't know exists. That you don't know exists. And that's been my experience with Sean. It's been this intangible trade back and forth. And every time, He's over delivered. He's over delivered. And I love this. I love this concept that I can't pay him back. Can't pay him back. I can't pay him back. I can't pay him back. I can't. This work has transformed areas of my life with my daughter, with my mom. It's giving me permission to do the things that I don't want people to know that I want to do. And what's that worth? I believe when you're convicted, when you know something, don't ask, go the extra mile. And I think this is some of Sean rubbing off on me, but I wanna overextend. I know when somebody needs something, and they're struggling and they're stooping and they're wobbling, at some point, you need to reach over and tell them the truth. You need to just reach over and break the seal and just tell people the truth. Just tell them the truth. And the truth is, if you've gone through ECCP, go get in action. Go get in action. Go get in action. I don't want you to miss what's on the other side for you. I don't want you to miss what's on the other side of this journey waiting for you. I don't want you to miss it. I want you to push. I want you to continue to push. And when you feel like giving up, you'll have this community there. The structure is there. The support is there. The truth is, it was people in this community that pulled me through. That's the truth. There was weakness in there on my end, and there were people inside of that community that grabbed me and pulled me. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Continue on the journey. Continue on the journey. Please. I mean it. Please continue on the journey. Stay in this community. To show up and be present. Sean's the real deal. And I love that man. And I can't pay him back. So if there's ever anything that I can do, say, hell, transform into, he made me be a better person. And there's no value on that. There's no value on that. I'm glad I found Sean. I'm glad each and every one of you found Sean. So my final words are, continue down the journey. Continue down the journey. And I love you.
Thank you, brother. Man. We got a lot of Ibrahim stories that we just don't have time to share in the moment, but I'm glad that you all felt his heart and Sandy's heart. And thank you guys tremendously for taking the time out of your day, just coming in and sharing with some people. We got 50 people in ECCP, you guys. We got 50 folks who are ready to head out and transform the world. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the two of you tremendously. And so Ibrahim's one of the damn, he might be the only guy the only person that I don't enjoy speaking after. So let me give you a little bit more details and fill in some of the gaps of what they're talking about in terms of structure. So what we've learned is that with this work, not coaching in general, but this work, and not transformational coaching in general, this work, ECCP, with the tools that we teach stacked on top of BCC. What's super clear to us is that BCC is the introduction to the curriculum, how the brain works, a lot of the intellectual stuff. ECCP is the experience of the embodiment and opening up awareness and seeing what possibility is so that you're ready for the skills. ECCP in action is where the skills become a piece of you, where the skills get saturated in your cells because they have to, because the process produces transformation. That's what we've recognized. And what's so cool about this, Michelle and I and Danita, we haven't really talked too much about this. ECCP in action hasn't changed much the first 3 times, right? It hasn't changed much. There's just something sacred, I think, about this particular piece. And so it's really an opportunity to take the learning and just go to another level. It's like the advanced degree. You're all going to get a certification out of here that says you completed ECCP and you've got the awareness, you've got a lot of the tools. What you're missing at this point is the practice. But there's a specific way you got to practice, to the point that we'll tell you in order what tools to practice and how long each one of them, and they're not all the same. Do this one first, understand this one. We're going to dive in, we're going to dissect, we're going to discuss. You got it. Now let's go to this one. Do this one, do it this many times, dissect, discuss, got it. Now let's go to this one. There are 11 or 12, Michelle, I always forget how many actual tools we have. 11, yeah? 11. There are 11 tools that we practice. You've been taught all of them. But there are 11 tools that we practice, from anchoring, Cartesian coordinates, superconductivity, voicing the emotion, all those tools. But they've got to be practiced in isolation for you to really get them. Robert made a comment earlier before the break that he said he was in Timeline. I don't know if this was a specific one or he was just using this as an example. In Timeline, took a timeout, did another process, came back in, closed out Timeline. You can't own these skills by just practicing carelessly. It's very similar to muscle development. You've got to isolate certain muscles and you've got to do it in a process. And we spent 4 years in the Master Coach program understanding what that was, the order, how often people need to practice. And when are you ready to go from practicing with your peers to practicing with the non-coaches out there? And so I say this is only our third, or we've only done ECCP in action 3 times, but we did Master Coach 4 times before that, I believe, at least 3 times. So this is essentially 5 years worth of development and polishing. And there were a lot of changes, right, Jackie, between Master Coach programs. But once we had that pretty much polished and ironed out, there hasn't been very many changes with ECCP in action. So the structure, the support, Ibrahim mentioned, like, get up, we're going to come get you. You have individual partnerships. You've got accountability partners. See, accountability is one of the biggest things. We're all going to make promises to ourselves, and if we don't have accountability, the majority of us will break those promises, especially when this is optional, especially when you want to build this on the side, you want to become a coach. My experience tells me that if you don't have a rigid system of accountability, you're going to fall to the wayside, just like almost everybody does. It's like you could have a gym membership, but if you don't have consistency with your habits, that gym membership by itself will not do anything to change your health. The skills of ECCP by themselves without consistent habits won't do anything to actually change your confidence and change your certainty. So what we have is a built-in system of accountability, and it's this, and then do that, and then do that. We get together every 2 weeks. We dissect one of the exercises. You see demos. We discuss. We bring all of our awareness, all of our experience. Jackie and Michelle are the two mentor coaches in that program. Each person will have an accountability partner. You'll have a small group, and you'll have a mentor coach. Like, we looked at what are all the things that somebody needs, and we just built it into this program. So the individual accountability is critical. Every other week, you're meeting with the big group, and then every other week in between those, you're meeting with your small group. So every week, you've got support. Every week, you've got connection. Every week, you've got practice. And then we tell you, do this exercise, practice it with your coaching peers this many times, then practice this with your coaching peers this many times. Here's my promise. Just follow this system, and at the end of ECCP in action, the level of saturation that you'll have in your cells of this work will be at an all-time high. That's really what we wanted when we put together the program. We said, what is going to produce a transformational agent? What is going to produce a transformational coach or speaker or trainer or parent or whatever it is you want to apply this to? And so it's a 6-month process that is essentially, I want to say guaranteed, not from a marketing standpoint guaranteed, but you can't go through this program and not come out the other side feeling like I can change lives and I can't not do this work. So that's the structure of the program. And from a pricing standpoint, it's not even an upsell. Right? I just had that thought today. Like, so we're not even asking you to pay more. We're asking the structure is actually a lower dollar amount than all of you paid to get into ECCP. So for the 6-month program, it's $297 a month. So for $300, you've got the constant support. You've got the one-on-ones with Jackie or Michelle. Every 10 hours, you have a meeting with them. Not every 10 hours on the clock, like twice a day. Every 10 coaching hours, you have a meeting with them and you ask them questions. I'm having these challenges, or what about this? And every 20 hours, they actually listen to one of your calls. And then they give you personalized, customized feedback. I mean, could you imagine having Michelle, having Jackie over your shoulder with all of their thousands of hours of experience and saying, what about doing this? And I like how you did this, but what about this one? And just giving you their experience. And so that's what ECCP in action is. It's a structured, straight line to embodied certainty. So it's $297 a month for the 6 months. You could pay for it all in full, and it's $15.99. So you save a couple $100 doing that. And what you're essentially committing to is at the end of this program, you've got certainty like you can't even imagine. And I'd say the biggest conceptual ingredient that ECCP in action has that I've never seen it in any other coaching programs that I've been a part of or I even know about is the dissection and study of this work. Like you're going to be intimately involved with each one of these tools, with each one of these exercises. You're going to know inside and out superconductivity and inside and out timeline therapy and all these things. And that is, I believe, what's missing in this industry is the study of transformation, the study of human behavior at a deep, deep mastery level. So that's the structure of ECCP in action. We are starting soon. What's the date, Michelle, that we're starting? In a couple weeks, right?
March
Yeah.
10th.
What
It's
Danita said.
March 10th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
March 10th. We want to get you in motion right away.
Quickly.
So that's one of the biggest missing ingredients for a lot of people. Like, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back home and practice and all that stuff. And it just simply doesn't happen, you guys. And I'm not telling you from theory. I'm telling you, I think this is the 11th ECCP. And the last 3 ECCPs are where the majority of our community of coaches have come from because of this. And before that, the only ones that made it through were the master coaches that paid $10,000 for that program. And so what we're doing here is we're wanting to build a system, a machine where so many more people can go through it, can consume it, and not obviously pay the huge dollar amounts, but give that structured approach. And so we're starting within a couple weeks, within 2 weeks. And what we do is March 10th a Friday?
It's not, it's a Wednesday.
Okay. So less than 2 weeks. And what we do is we have the first 2 scheduled already. And then based on who's in the program, we ask everybody to give us their time window availability. And then we find a time that as many people as possible, ideally everybody, can attend. And that gets challenging with different time zones and all that kind of stuff. But the first 2 might not be times that are easy for you. But if you want to be in, we'll make sure that everybody has an opportunity to attend live. And if there's ever like a split to where there are some people that could never attend at a certain time, then we'll stagger the times. So you can at least attend some of them live. And it's an intimate group. And it's, like I said, it's the thing that I'm most proud of because of the results that come afterward. And it's actually an additional certification that you get with ECCP in action. So it's, if you want to take this to another level of mastery, then that's the path that I would advise, that I would suggest for all of you. Are there any questions, or Michelle, anything I asked or anything that anybody wants to add? Angel?
I do have a question. Is this the only opportunity? I'm already committed to 3 courses and a doctorate's dissertation before freaking May. I can't put another thing on my plate. There's just not. I got a full-time job on top of that. Is there any other time that you're running this? Like this, it's just, yes, I see the value. Yes, I love what you guys do. And yes, or I wouldn't be back here again. But reality is I'm finishing up my doctorates. I just can't take another on my plate.
And we wouldn't want you to do anything that stretches you too far. As of now, the plan is to start a new round of ECCP in action with every ECCP that we do. So if you go handle all that stuff, and assuming we stay on roughly the 6-month timeline, then that means in August, we'll start another round.
All right, that's fair. If I can just get this cleared, because I can't take on another thing on my shoulders. And the people that have been working with my therapy side of things know that, yeah, sure. I'm just taking too much on.
Of course.
Thank you.
And what I will say to you is make sure you come to ECCP first, because like as alumni again, because if you let all this time go and then just try to pick it up after 6 months kind of out of it, then it might be a little more jarring too. So just make sure you come to ECCP also. Anything else that I haven't said, Michelle, or something you want to add?
Yeah, I would love to add. My internet's being a little bit wonky. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So everything that Sean said, everything that Ibrahim, that Sandy spoke to, and there's community. And I really want to drill this in because Sean mentioned this and I want to make sure you heard it. One of the biggest missing pieces, one of the main reasons that people in general aren't successful at what they're trying is because they don't have the support. And there are people in our community whose stories I will not tell for them, but who have messaged me, sent me emails, Facebook messages to say, I would not have made it through the past 6 months without these people. So you're getting the experience inside of the program, but friends, you're also getting coached. So you're getting practice coaching, all of these exercises, you're practicing, Chris, you're being partnered with somebody, you're doing exercises. So you're going through as a coach, 60 hours of coaching, and you're going through that as a client. And from somebody who stands on her coaching skills rooted from her personal transformation, I cannot embed in you enough how serious that is. If you want that je ne sais quoi, that thing that people are like, what is it about him? What is it about her? It's that. And so to be in a program that is so full circle, where you're getting the training and you're giving yourself the opportunity to get that personal coaching for $297 a month, get it. Get it. This is the thing. This is the thing. Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Thanks.
I hadn't even, I'm sure we've talked about that before, but it's something that, that I often forget the value of that. Like, just being in the program, you're going to get coached up and down as a client. You have to. And talk about just being in the car wash of transformation, like so deeply rooted inside of it. That's a really good point. Thank you for that. Cheryl?
I am overwhelmingly grateful right now to hear this, because that's exactly what I needed. And I was getting pretty scared about where to go next and how in the hell am I going to get going in this? Because, being the last day, it's starting to get kind of scary with as much as we've received this week and getting it put into action. But this is really great news. And I just want to say thank you. It's exactly what I need. So I'll be there.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. And it was, it used to make me sad that people would go through ECCP and not get into action. So, man, I'm glad Michelle brought that in. And you know what? And before you guys, ECCP was $5,000 and Master Coach was 10.
That's what
that was the price that Danita paid, that Michelle paid. Anyway.
And then some of you are reaching out to say I'm in. So I know a lot of you set up consultation calls. If you're in and you're certain, I'm going to type my phone number in here. Just text me and we can jump on a call right after this to secure your seat. Okay, so I'm going to put it in now. Oh, I sent it to Michelle, not everybody. So a lot of you are like, I'm in. You don't have to wait for your consultation this weekend or next week. We can take care of that sooner than later. Okie dokie, here I go.
So just send you an email?
Just send me a text. I just put my phone number in the chat. I should put Danita.
And I just spotlighted for all of you, Jackie and Michelle. Can you guys just rain some love on them for a moment here? Like, what they give to this community is insane. And the amount of care and like intimate connection with the whole community, but specifically the people that they end up being mentor coaches
Nita,
for.
this is Cheryl.
Hang on one second.
Period.
The amount of care that the two of you give is just immeasurable. And so many people have grown under your wings. And you guys have put so much time in. And that's the stuff that I know. And the stuff that I don't know, I have no idea about the amount of time and phone calls and just all the things that you guys do are incredible. So I want to take this time to give you something that you earned a long time ago, and we just haven't given it to you yet, which is you are the two original recipients of this certificate. And this is the this is the ECCP in Action certificate. And I just want to read just a little bit from it. It is a master certificate, and it says, Jackie Long and Michelle Moore have completed BCC, ECCP, ECCP in Action with well over 150 hours of in-depth training of the fundamental principles and techniques. And for each of you, I could easily add a 0 to that and probably be low. So this should have happened before. It didn't, but it's happening now. And so I want to, in front of everybody, give you, at least over the screen, your master neurotransformational results coach certificate. And of course, I'll send it to you in the mail.
Thank you. I asked Michelle recently, I'm like, do you have a certification? We're like certifying people and don't have a certification. So thank you, Sean, and Michelle, and you're an amazing mentor, Sean, and I appreciate you so very much. And I could go on. I literally could talk for an hour about my gratitude for you. And I'd be happy to do that at another time. And Michelle, thank you for being just an amazing leader and partner, and just always positive. Even when things don't feel so positive, somehow you make them positive. And I just love and appreciate you. And thank you so much for all that you do, and even more so for who you are.
Yeah, these two, man. And the program is only what it is because of you. So thank you. And maybe this is my ego protection. I've had these certificates for a long time. The dates are like from well into last year. And I don't know, maybe I just didn't feel the special time until this week. And so Yeah, that's all I'll say. You guys are just incredible beyond words.
Thank you, Sean Smith. Thank you, Jackie, for the collaboration and the connection and the community. I mean, the program is what it is because of the people inside of it. So it's an honor to serve.
And serve you do. You guys serve your asses off. So if any of you have any questions, Erin is a graduate from the program. She has a certificate. Alicia is a graduate. Is there anybody else in here that Robert and Kathy have been through? They were in the last group of Master Coach, so they were a part of that crowd. So they're available. Well, I'm not going to say you're available, but if you guys have questions, you can reach out to some of them and ask them about any specifics. And Robin was in the last Master Coach group as well. And so she's an amazing, amazing soul. Danita's been here forever for everything. So she obviously has a lot of wisdom. So thank you for the time and the consideration and the energy. And we're here to support you however we can, if and when it fits. So with that, let's come back to coaching. I'm going to give you more time. We're not done yet. I'm going to give you more time to practice. And we've gone through so much emotionally, mentally, all the discussions. And towards the end is when you put it into practice and put it into play and try some things here and try some things there. And as so many of the previous coaches, and especially the ones that have been coaching for a long, long time, have shared with you, it's just really about leaning in and doing the work and practicing. And, you know, I was taken aback by how many timelines everybody said that they had. It was incredible. So we're going to get you into more practice here in a moment. I do want to tell you how you can get your certification for ECCP. So there are 3 levels here, right? In our coaching university, BCC, many of you are already certified in that. ECCP is here, what you are. You just heard about ECCP in action, and there are 3 different certifications. For ECCP Live or ECCP Online here, you're going to get your certification mailed to you, the digital copy of the certification mailed to you, but we want you to share with us what your experience has been like, specifically inside of the practice sessions. So for those of you that did the detailed personal history, almost all of you did that after day 4. That plus the practice session that you did earlier, plus the practice session that you're going to get to later, we want to hear about it. So what we want you to do is to send in a video. It could be just over the phone. You could film it right on Zoom and send us a link right out of your Zoom account so we could watch it on Zoom. You can upload it to YouTube. You can email us and put it on Google Doc and just get it to us any way you possibly can. It cannot be more than 5 minutes. If it's 5 minutes and 1 second or anything longer than that, we're not going to watch it. We're going to send it right back to you and ask you to do it in less than 5 minutes. And partly because that's a skill that we need, is to be concise and keep it under a certain amount of time. So we want you to send us a video and just tell us about this process. Specifically, we've got questions for you. We'll send these questions out. I'm just going to read them to you now, but don't worry, we'll send all of this stuff out to you. You'll have it so that you can refer back to it. But we want to know things like, what was most exciting for you during the sessions? If you were able to facilitate a breakthrough, what was the most challenging for you? If you found it hard staying on time, or you found it hard not drifting off and trying to ask if the voice was masculine or feminine because you weren't really certain about the process. Anything that's real for you, because there's going to be challenges when you learn new skills, and definitely this work is new. What was surprising for you? Maybe you found it was surprising that you could create a shift so quick, or maybe you found it surprising that it took so long to do certain things, or maybe you were surprised by yourself in one way or another. And then what questions came up for you from doing these 2 sessions? I would be concerned if you don't practice coaching and not have questions from it. And those questions could be, will this work with money? Or would this work with a certain kind of topic? Or what happens when this? If you're really studying this work, it will produce questions. And so the outlay, I think I might have misspoke a little bit. This is what we want you to do is 1 minute, what's exciting, 1 minute, what was challenging, 1 minute, what was surprising, and then 1 to 2 minutes, what questions do you have from doing these 2 sessions? If you want to knock all that out in 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be anywhere near 5, but 5 is the absolute maximum. So you can start sending that to us immediately once ECCP is over. And once we hear, or once we get it from you, we'll watch the video, and then we'll send you a digital copy of a certificate that you can put on a website if you want, or you can print it out. And if you want a physical copy of your certificate with a wet signature of mine, it will dry by the time it gets to you, but an actual signature that's not a digital copy, we'll put this in the mail to you. But you got to do something else for that one. For that one, we want you to write a letter. And Michelle, I'm going to ask you to read yours. I don't know if I had that in the agenda. Probably, you were probably ready for that anyway. We're going to ask you to write a letter. And you know, we do a lot of work with seekers here, right? We talk about who's that person that's seeking your lessons, that's seeking your knowledge. But generally, we think about how can we serve that seeker, and we think about, you know, where is that seeker, and where can we find them, and so forth, which is all extremely powerful when it comes to building a business. But this letter, we're going to take it another step further, and another shift in our perspective. And I'll let Michelle speak to this if she wants to add anything more to this. But I know this was a gigantic shift for her. Relatively recently, 2-3 years ago, somewhere around that time frame maybe. And I don't even remember how it came about, but what she did is she wrote a letter, not to her seeker, but to herself from her seeker. So if you want to add anything to that, Michelle, you can, and then please read it to everybody. So I want you to just listen to it for the power of it, but also it can be a model for what we're asking you to do if you want the physical copy of your certificate as well. Go ahead.
Thank you. So Sean is right. We were on a mastermind call about something totally different. And inside of that call, they started talking to us about really connecting with the pain that the person who is seeking, right, our lessons, right, the pain that they're currently in. And I mentally checked out of the mastermind call in full transparency, because I got really deeply connected with the pain of the woman who is my seeker. And I started to write down, like, this is what's going on in her life, and this is what's going on in her life. And this thing, she's dealing with this with her husband right now. And then just intuitively, to what Sean said, I wrote myself this letter. So it's Dear Michelle, and it's from Her name is Lee. Hi, Michelle. I'm emailing you because I don't know what else to do. I know this is a lot, but I'm really lost and I'm starting to get scared. I need your help. Last night, everyone was gone from the house and I sat on the floor in our kitchen with my back up against the cabinets. I was staring out of the bay window, looking into our backyard. It's beautiful here. We live in a brand new home in a country club. And Michelle, I'm so embarrassed, but I cut my wrists with a butcher knife. And I didn't want to die exactly. You know, I just wanted him to notice me. I really need you. And I'm sorry. I'm super fucked up. You know, I don't know what it's like to be in a healthy relationship. I have been unfaithful as I continue my hunt for love and approval and validation, which is so weird because I'm in a good relationship. And it's like, Michelle, I'm addicted to attention. I need to be desired. And I don't understand why I care if a stranger finds me attractive. I feel like I'm crazy. Like I know what I'm doing is wrong and I can't stop. And when I'm angry, which is like all the time, I shake. And Michelle, I claw at my skin with my nails until it's red and bleeding. And some days, some days I lock myself in the bathroom and I cut at my skin with a razor. I hate my body. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. I wish my legs were longer. I have the ugliest knees. This might sound crazy, but I don't even wear shorts or skirts. I wish I was skinnier. I feel so fat, like I'm just gross. And my hair, you know, it's a mess. Like I'm just not pretty like the other girls are. And I just wish that I was less messy, like more polished. I have so many flaws and I just wish that I was perfect. And, you know, I mean, while we're here, since I'm being honest, I do drink and I smoke a lot of weed, and it's because it just helps me not to feel. Feeling is just scary for me. I don't trust my emotions. I feel super out of control. And if I am stressed out at all, you know, if I'm overwhelmed or anything bad happens, it really doesn't matter what time of day. I just reach for the pipe. Sometimes pills or vodka, because I mean, they can't smell the vodka. I'm abusive like my mother, which makes me sick. I look like her and I hate that too. I've hit my kids and my partner just like she did. And I don't do it all the time, but I get in these like blinding fits of rage where it's like I black out and I can't stop screaming. It's really bad. sometimes I hit my head against the wall to stop the screaming. I think I'm crazy. I don't know, Michelle, I'm trying so hard. You have no idea how hard I work. And it's like I can't win. Like I'm doing everything right and nothing is working. And I don't know, maybe I don't deserve to. No one ever tells me that I'm doing a good job. Can you fix me? I just feel like maybe you could relate. I don't know. You know, I've seen your videos and your posts online, and I just need to know that I will be okay. And honestly, I wasn't even sure that I should email you. I'm kind of thinking about deleting this because I'm sure you're like, what the hell? Which I get because I do that too sometimes. I know I'm a lot. I just don't know what else to do. But it's, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. It's fine. I'm probably just having a bad day. People tell me all the time I'm so dramatic. And so I'm sorry that I bothered you. But if you do read this, thank you for listening. But don't worry, like it's fine. Like really, I'm fine. I'll be okay. And so I guess in the meantime, you know, just keep showing up because I need to see you, you know, I need to know you're there. And I want you to know that I follow you online and I watch all your videos. And I know that I don't comment all the time, but I do watch. So please write your story. And Michelle, my God, publish our book. Stand on stage, speak your truth. Show me who you are so I know I'm not alone. And Michelle, show me who you've become so I know that I can heal. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, who felt that, huh? Thank you, Michelle, for reading it and for going there and for writing it. It's a next level of commitment. And so that's our way to bribe you into writing your letter from your seeker to yourself. It doesn't have to be as long as Michelle's. It doesn't have to be like Michelle's in any details or anything like that. Whatever it means to you, whatever it looks like, sounds like, feels like to you guys. Because it's yours and it's not hers and it's not from Lee, it's from whoever your seeker is. So is that clear for everyone? To get the certification, 5-minute or less video, we'll give you all the details. We'll send it in an email so you have the questions and all that stuff to answer. We'll put it in the Facebook group probably, or somehow get it to you multiple ways. And then for the physical certification, just email us. I think, did we just have them email to me, Michelle, or should we have them email to anywhere specific? Just email me, right? Okay. So you guys can just email me. All the emails that you're getting from ECCP, if you reply to those, they'll come directly to my inbox. So you can reply to any of those or just send me a message, a new one with your letter. It could be written inside the email. It could be attached if you write it in a different document or what have you. And that's how you can get your certification from here in both ways. All right. All right, man. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put you back with your partner coach. Is there anything that any of you want to share about that particular letter? Say anything to Michelle directly, and it's okay if there isn't, but if there is, I just want to give a couple minutes of space for that. Heather?
that was speechless is a great word. I don't think that I've ever taken responsibility at that level to all of the times that I've quit. And Michelle, you know that I started on this journey in 2004. It is 2021. I had one of my closest best friends commit suicide. And the letter that she wrote was a beautiful one. But the bottom line was, Heather, you needed to write your book faster because I was right here. And she asked me for it. Hey, where you are with chapter 1? Hey, Heather, what are you doing here? And I blew it off. Oh, I can't figure that out. It's this, it's that. I can't find the words. And I simply blew it off. I didn't know she was talking about her. And I kept thinking I could wait, and I kept thinking it would be okay. And to do this is terrifying for me. Because when I put all those years and all that stuff, and I get how selfish and how much, yes, I may have tried, but I didn't try hard enough. And that just,
it's 8 o'clock.
That was incredibly impactful and moving and jarring and terrifying for me in many, many ways. And on the flip side, it also has me own how I use that as an excuse. And how I use that, how I use that excuse. How I use it as an excuse. So thank you for your courage. Thank you for your love. And thank you for willing to go and be on an edge that is so thin and so sharp and so haunting to some people and so fucking raw. And it needed to be said. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you gave me permission to now deal with something that I had beautifully, with a lot of logic and fabulous things, dropped into a place I just wasn't willing to go. And I will honor her with that letter, and I will write that letter from her. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. If there's anybody else that wants to share, go ahead, Michelle. I'll do the rooms and you can manage the conversation.
Yeah, sure. Leslie, go ahead. I was just scrolling.
I almost felt like I couldn't follow Heather, but because that was so powerful. There's a lot of your seeker who I recognize very much in myself 15 years ago. And some of it, a lot of it, I have worked through, I've changed, but I want to say that part of what I learned at ECCP is I haven't really fixed it. I just managed it in some places. And if I had known about you then, if you had been in that place then, I would have reached out to you for sure. So thank you for being there for the me's that are still in the place where I was. Thank you.
It's beautiful. I recommend, should you write it, and I hope you do, whatever the letter looks like for you. It's something I do with a lot of my clients. Read it regularly. I'm deeply connected to her. And when I read that, I can't not be like, well, like, do I look good in this selfie? You know, like, I think it just doesn't even, right? Like, it doesn't even seem like that question even makes sense. There's somebody who is ready to read, ready to experience, ready to learn, ready to grow. So I show up for her. And having that single person, you guys, that's the thing we talk about, that single person. When I record videos, I talk to her. When I write my poetry, it's to her. Like, I write for her. And she's grown, right, along the journey as well. I write for Lee. We have your rooms ready. It's beautiful if you're complete. I just want to make sure if there was somebody with their hand raised, my request is that you just unmute your mic, because I want to make sure.
All right, so we're going to put you in the breakout room with your partner coach that you were with earlier today, and you did the detailed partner or personal history with. And we're going to give you a good amount of time. We're going to give you about 40 minutes both ways. So you'll have 40 minutes to coach your partner. They'll have 40 minutes to coach you back. If you guys want to break that up and do 2 20-minute sessions or something like that, if that feels right based on where it goes, that's totally fine. I just want you guys to have 40 minutes both ways for the most part. Don't do like 10 4-minute sessions, but if you want to do 2 20-minute sessions, that's fine. If you guys have any questions about anything, let us know before you jump in the room. So 40 minutes plus 40 minutes is an hour and 20 minutes. So that puts us at almost 6:30. We'll add on a break on top of that. So you guys can mix in a break. So that's another 10 minutes on top of that. So that's 6:40 my time. So 40 minutes after the hour, an hour and 33 minutes from now. Okay. So we'll open up the rooms. If you guys have any direct questions, you guys can stick around before you go into your rooms and ask. Okay.